things I do for a damned Christmas special. Yeah, I'll wear a silly Santa hat on that make me look really great for views. Hello and welcome to the Nerdy Brit Christmas special. Ooh. Yes, on Christmas Day, I know you're so excited to have extra Nerdy Brit content. I know, you're loving it. For your entertainment today, I've decided to rank all of the Christmas specials of Doctor Who. And also the 2 New Year ones, because quite frankly, I know it'll irritate some people if I put them in, but quite frankly, some people will want them in. If you really don't like that they're in here, just skip them when I talk about them. Yeah, don't be such a wet wipe. As far as I'm aware, there are 15 in total, at the end of time being one story. Yeah, let's get into it. So at number 15, we've got The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Yeah, we've got a couple of stinkers to get out of the way, haven't we? Superheroes and Doctor Who, it feels very forced. Obviously this was a time where, superheroes were getting very common, and Doctor Who decided, yeah, let's do a superhero episode at Christmas, and it doesn't come off very well at all. I'm already going to have to take this hat off. Woo! Christmas! Number 14, I'm going to go with Time of the Doctor. So this was Matt Smith's last episode, and it just ends up being a real mess. It's not particularly a Christmassy episode, because it's all just really focused on the regeneration of Matt Smith, and the whole episode itself just feels rushed and just weird, not very good at all. Number 13, Dr. Widow and the Wardrobe. Again, we're getting through some of the just obviously rubbish ones here. There's just nothing particularly effective that happens here. All that's particularly Christmassy is snow, and it's just a bit of a mess. Now at number 12, I'm going to go with the Snowmen. I think this one is actually quite popular, but for me it just doesn't do very much. The Doctor as a character just spends a lot of the time moping in this episode, and Clara's not particularly interesting or effective. Neither are the villains here. Don't really fancy ever rewatching this one. Number 11, I'm going to go with the Christmas Evasion, the first one. Now, this is quite a nostalgic one for me, because I've kind of grown up watching this one, but it's definitely David Tennant's weakest Christmas special for me. A big part of that is the Doctor is put out of action for most of the episodes. Obviously, I've never been a massive fan of the Doctor's very different in his first episode. It's clunky, and I kind of wish Doctor Who would stop doing it. Obviously, the Doctor's allowed to find their personality in the episode, but the whole episode dedicated to the Doctor becoming normal, I'm bored of it. Number 10, Revolution of the Daleks. John Barrowman coming back is fun, and there are good performances across the board, but the plot is just a big mess from start to finish. The resolution is really odd and unsatisfying. Just feels like a bit of a mess, really, and it isn't particularly enjoyable. Number 9 is Last Christmas. Not because it's a particularly bad episode, it's just not my style. Obviously, this is a list that's based on my opinions, and it just doesn't particularly work. Yeah, I really enjoy Nick Frost as Father Christmas, but apart from that, just the story with, the aliens that cling onto your face, just dreams within dreams, it doesn't work for me. It's not my cup of tea. Number 8, I'm going to go with Twice Upon a Time. Again, this is a little bit messy, and the characterisation of the first Doctor is fun but odd. But this is a better example of a Doctor regenerating at Christmas, and I think it's quite effective. Number 7, I'll go with The End of Time, parts 1 and 2. I know there are some people that really don't like this, and no, it's not particularly Christmassy, but I do really enjoy this. I find seeing the characters at the end, I know a lot of people complain about it. As a big fan of the RTD era, I really like going through and seeing all these characters. Overall, because I'm so invested in David Tennant as a Doctor, a more emotional send-off works for me. I know people are going to have problems with that, but it works for me. Number 6, I'm going to go with Resolution. Again, on a ranking of Christmas specials, I don't really want to put it really, really high, because no, at the end of the day, it isn't a Christmas special. But I have a lot of fun with it, and especially after a lot of Moffat duds involving Daleks, this is probably the freshest take we've had in Daleks in a while. Yeah, Revolution kind of then ruined all the good work that Resolution does, but Resolution actually gives us one Dalek being incredibly scary, something that the original Dalek episode in the modern series did well, and it's a formula that works again here. Again, not particularly festive, but a lot of fun, and deserves a very good place on this ranking, especially as a lot of the episodes before it just clearly aren't as good. however much some people who really don't like Chibnall would like to argue otherwise. At number 5, I'll finally put it on here, The Next Doctor. Now, some people hate this episode. They think the use of the Cybermen is corny, and they just can't stand it. Not only again, I mean, this episode would have come out when I was about 7 or 8, so I've grown up with this as one of my classic Christmas specials and things to watch at Christmas. I also just really love Jackson Lake and that plot line he goes on, and while it's corny, I can forgive what happens with the Cybermen in this episode. I can forgive it. Number 4, The Husbands of Riversong. I don't think many people are actually going to agree with this list. This episode is Christmas mixed with the perfect finale for Riversong. It just really works for me. Yeah, it gets a lot of mileage out of its ending. A lot of the things I really, really love here are to do with the way the ending pulls together the entirety of Riversong, and now we don't and probably never should see the character again. Perfectly done. It's also done really well at Christmas, in a fun, light-hearted adventure. I don't need my Doctor Who to be too deep at Christmas. I'd much rather have some fun with it, and this episode understands that. At number 3, I'm going to go with Runaway Bride. Now, yeah, this isn't quite the Donna Noble that was so fantastically successful in Series 4. It's a little bit more grating, this version, but it's still, for me, a lot of fun. Again, just a really nice, fun, Christmassy adventure, and I love the TARDIS going down the motorway to rescue Donna. That's such a fantastic sequence for me. I'll always love that. Again, it's one of those ones that I just love to put on at Christmas, probably because I grew up with it. Now, the choice between number 2 and number 1 is incredibly difficult for me, because one of them is by far the technically best Christmas special in terms of being Christmassy, in terms of feeling festive, but telling a really great classic Doctor Who story within it. And the other one, while not being the best Doctor Who story, is just so magnetic and enjoyable that I really do love it. I know I'm going to get some criticism, but at number 2, I am going Christmas Carol. Honestly, I can't praise this episode enough. I think it's, in terms of technical Christmas special, one of the best. It feels Christmassy, yet it's got this sweet, lovely message with some great Doctor Who-y twists. It's brilliant, and Matt Smith smashes it. But at number 1, I've got to go Voyage of the Damned. I'm sorry, but for me and nostalgia and what I grew up with, it's my personal list. I love Voyage of the Damned so much. I just have so much fun with these characters, and I was 5 when this came out, and I've loved it ever since. It's really fantastic stuff. Yeah, some people really might not like it, some people might think the villain's a bit too cheesy, but it's perfect, not perfect Doctor Who, but perfect Christmas Doctor Who. And I find it incredibly enjoyable. I think that might be one of my most controversial lists, but who knows, Merry Christmas. If you want to give me a special Christmas present, subscribe, that'd be really nice, like this video, and apart from that, I'll see you soon. Thanks guys.